And the number of hate crimes in Chicago keeps going up. Chicago police have recorded 130 so far this year. That's up 17% from last year and 63% higher than 2020. The two most targeted groups, Black and Jewish people. 4 years ago, Mayor Lori Lightfoot made history as the first Black woman and first lesbian elected to the city's top office. This week, she made history again as the first incumbent Chicago mayor in 40 years to lose re-election. I want to ask you real quick just to reflect on the Lightfoot legacy in a sense. I mean, to lose like this after one term, first time a mayor's done that since Jane Byrne in the 80s. What were some of your takeaways there? Thanks, Jake. Also on the north side, a big development project is moving forward while another remains in question. Block Club's Quinn Myers gives us the latest on the 606 Trail expansion. Sweeping criminal justice reforms will take effect across Illinois starting next year under the Safety Act. Now, there's been a lot of confusion and misinformation surrounding the new law. I talked to Cook County Public Defender Sharon Mitchell to separate fact from fiction, including one of the biggest misconceptions that all the jails are going to empty out next year. He was a radical civil rights leader in Chicago, co-founding the Illinois chapter of the Black Panther Party. During our conversation for WBEZ and NPR's award-winning podcast Making, Rush was candid and direct about his life's work and the death of his friend, Black Panther chairman Fred Hampton. As you can see, the cold is not stopping these teachers. They're out picketing right now. This crazy saga finally heading to a courtroom. Jussie Smollett facing up to 48 years behind bars if he's found guilty. But legal experts I speak with say they don't expect him to face any prison time at all. Listen, this is quite a bombshell. Chicago water officials saying they've known since June of elevated lead levels inside Chicago homes, but they are just now making that public. Well, a TSA official told me it's going to be a long day. That's because these past 2 days of cancellations and delays have created so much backlog in the system. I was just going to ask if you were scared or not. I've flown like in the back of a cockpit before, and they're telling you all the buttons to not press and what to press. I'm just like, wow, this is daunting. So I can only imagine. Now, a new report by ProPublica shows that oversight, it's a lot more relaxed than it actually should be. So I got Mick Dumke here with me. He wrote the piece and is here to tell us some more about this story. Thanks for being here, man.
Hey, good to be here. Thanks for having me on.
So when I was first reading this, I mean, it can be a complicated story, but I'm just thinking, how does something like this happen? Federal agents aren't commenting on the full scope of the investigation. It was a full-scale sweep from Alderman Ed Burke's City Hall office to his own law firm, but the longtime alderman says they're not going to find anything. He has nothing to hide. Take a look at the scene as they raided his law firm. I've been tracking my progress all week on social media with the hashtag #BPopesEndgame. I was the only reporter in Chicago and one of 3 reporters in the country to sit through a 59-hour marathon of 22 Marvel films. Yeah, a lot. 59 hours and 22 movies later, the time has come. Avengers Endgame. Looking to be quite a day here. Got to get those fans ready. Keep the water with you. You ran in 2014. It's a grueling process running for governor. Why do that again? They're pretty upset about this one. Jimmy Butler going to the Twin Cities after rumors and speculation all week. You told me you've been doing this. This is your 3rd year?
Yeah, 3rd year.
Okay, so what am I getting into here? It's my first time.
Oh, man. You're going to get excited here.
Now, take me to church now.
Inspired.
Come on now. Got me stomping my feet right now. This is something you definitely don't see every day. You hear that engine? It's loud. It's loud. The grave digger. Oh, okay. Oh, boy. I'm going to drive like a granny here. Paul is one of them. He's a super fan here at the Cubs. Paul, how you? Oh, quick selfie. Hey. Lakeshore Drive is a mess right now. We're on Randolph and Monroe, where traffic is being diverted by Chicago police. It's going to be quite a scene for President Donald Trump's arrival. He's set to get into town around 9:30, touch down via helicopter at Soldier Field, then speak at the police commissioners conference right here in McCormick Place around 10:30. I love it. It stands the test of time. You see how cool this little doohickey is right here? It's a robot. I call him Roberto the robot.
Okay, I like that.
I already got a name for him.
It was,
Absolutely, and there's just so much going on that stretch there, and so many obstacles you have to try to avoid as well with traffic and construction and things like that. But how much of this is about the design of these bike lanes themselves? Jordan, over to you for play of the day.
Hey, B Pope, how many Valentines you buying for this year?
Hey, let's not call me out. Let's not call me out. Hey, I gotta leave. I can't. No. Drive about a half hour west of downtown and you'll hit DuPage County, the second largest and perhaps the most politically important county in the state. I got an inside look at how the suburbs have shifted from red to blue. It's good to be a Democrat in Illinois. The party controls every statewide office, supermajorities in the state legislature, and most seats on the state Supreme Court. But it wasn't always this way.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's great to be back in Illinois.
Republicans actually were a force.
Former Illinois Republican Party Chairman Pat Brady remembers the GOP's better days.
We had Republican governors for 25 years.
True, yeah.
In 93, 94, we had the majority in the House. So the state used to be more like where you're from, more like Ohio. I think the demographics have changed.
Elmhurst University political science professor Dr. Constance Mixon says it was the suburbs that kept Illinois politically competitive.
DuPage County was one of the most solidly Republican counties in the entire country. And for more than a century, Republicans dominated DuPage County.
Something you can still see in some areas.
One of my first experiences in downtown Elmhurst was walking by this tobacco shop and seeing Biden voters keep out sign. So that kind of gave me an idea of the place.
But DuPage's recent voting history tells a different story. It all began around 2008.
And we are ready to lead once more.
For the first time since 1852, Barack Obama, a Democratic presidential nominee, won DuPage County. It's a day progressive activist Flo Appel remembers well.
I cried every day in joy that this man and Michelle, oh my God, it just was spectacular.
You might have thought this was just a one-off, right? Obama is from Illinois, so maybe that's why DuPage voted for Obama in this election. But in every presidential election since, DuPage has continued to vote Democratic.
It's not just the presidency either. Voters in DuPage backed Democrat J.B. Pritzker for governor and sent Democrats to the House in 2018. DuPage County's changing politics are tied to its changing demographics.
Today's suburbs are not all white, middle class, or dominated by families with traditional gender roles, and previously excluded lower income groups, ethnic minorities, new immigrants. They're now making their homes in suburbia.
In 1980, DuPage was more than 95% white. By 2020, the non-Hispanic white population had dropped to 65%. Jim Zay is the chairman of the DuPage County Republican Party.
Everybody says, the Republicans are in trouble. We've lost some elections, the last couple elections. We still have, a lot of the countywide offices. So, the party's not dead.
Zay is also the longest serving member of the county board. When he was first elected in 1999, Republicans controlled everything in the county. A lot has changed.
More people are moving in from Cook County and from the city. They bring their values with them. As they're a Democrat, they bring it with them, but they don't realize why they moved to DuPage County. And why? Because of the good schools and the low crime and all that. And that was because what the Republicans had done, for many years under our leadership.
Liz Chaplin has seen that change firsthand. She got her start in local politics back in 2002 when she was appointed to the County Water Commission.
I believe that the assumption was everybody was a Republican.
Then people started paying attention to her personal politics.
People were calling and asking about the Democratic signs in our yard. Why do you have Democratic signs in your yard? And I'm like, because we're Democrats. And one local reporter asked me, what did the chairman say when you told him you were a Democrat? I said, well, the topic never came up and I never volunteered the information.
I think the party kind of dropped the ball a little bit about bringing people up, and getting new people involved at that point.
Chaplin's service on the Water Commission gave her a platform to run for the county board in 2012, an uphill battle for a Democrat.
When you were out knocking doors, like we would say, people would ask sometimes, what are you, a Democrat or Republican? I say, I'm a Democrat. They're like, I feel sorry for you, or go back to Cook County.
In 2020, Chaplin and her fellow Democrats took control of the county board, something that hasn't happened since the 1930s.
We didn't think it would happen quite this fast.
One reason it happened so fast?
Suburban women, will you please like me?
Remember, Donald Trump was elected, and everything changed. Everything changed.
Shortly after Donald Trump became president, women began marching in protest in major cities all across the country, including Chicago.
I went to the Lombard train platform, and it was nose to nose. There had to be thousands of women on that platform. And none of the trains that were coming from Wheaton or Glen Ellen had any room in them.
While the former president was popular with downstate voters, his polarizing style of politics hurt him in the suburbs.
The Trump factor statewide for Republicans, or even if you're a conservative thinker or just any kind of voter, it's been disastrous. It's been horrible. And I don't know why people that are running want to hitch their star to a guy that lost his state by 1 million votes twice.
Even before Trump, DuPage County's politics started shifting, and it'll likely continue after him.
Political scientist B.O. Key referred to these gradual shifts in party identification as secular realignments, and they extend over several presidential elections. It's not as if people are just waking up in the suburbs one day and saying, oh, I'm going to change my party affiliation and vote Democrat.
Despite these shifts, Republicans aren't giving up on the county.
I'm out walking with my friends every weekend. We're trying to get as many people as we can. We're knocking when we can. If not, we're leaving something on the door, and we're trying to get out there.
I think the bright spot is there is room for a conservative message, a law and order message, a limited government message. Don't spend more than you take in from a government perspective. Provide the essential government services, but don't spend too much. I think that's a message that can resonate.
And it's the same story across most of the 5 counties bordering Cook County. They were all once solidly Republican, but started drifting blue in 2008. Now, McHenry County is the exception. It voted for Obama in 2008, but has since gone back to voting Republican. Around the country and at the University of Illinois Chicago, Curtis Granderson is a legend.
The fact that my name is here and people ask for it or say I'm going there, I call it CG Stadium.
He's run the bases with the Yankees, the Mets, the Dodgers, and many more, bringing scores of accolades. But it's here in Chicago, his home base, where his impact is felt the most.
Now I'm in a spot where people look up to me. 1-0, 1 out, 1 out, 1 out. I can hopefully help other people get where they want to in a number of different ways, and that's when I started really utilizing baseball as the platform to say, all right, I can really start helping out in big ways here.
The Blue Island native is doing that through his nonprofit, the Chicago Baseball and Educational Academy, or CBEA for short. It provides mentorship and skills training through sports and helps Chicago youth chase their dreams just steps away from the baseball diamond where Curtis Granderson achieved his.
And I look at it, especially being here at CG Stadium, I want to make sure if you want to play, the opportunity is there for you. You shouldn't be priced out. The accessibility should be there, and that's why we have this.
As one of the few Black American baseball players in the major leagues, Curtis experienced firsthand the challenges kids face to choose baseball over other popular sports.
I was fortunate. UIC was one of the most affordable schools in the country when I was a student here. The scholarship that gave me made it where school was still very affordable. But if it was a situation where it wasn't, mom and dad might have said, you might have to pick something else.
According to the Aspen Institute and Utah State University, baseball can be hundreds of dollars more expensive for families than football or basketball.
So I want to try to eliminate those barriers because a lot of kids want to play, of all races, of all ethnicities. But it's a lot different than it was when Jackie was in. It's gotten a lot expensive. The training, the travel, the equipment, the teams. And when it comes time to starting to pick some things, I may have to pick something else, and I want to try to eliminate that.
So you think that's probably a big reason why we have so few Black American players in the major leagues and just in baseball overall? Barriers to access and opportunity.
And it's not only at the grassroots level. Say I go through the whole system and I get a chance to go to a great college like this. scholarships aren't full for everybody there. You have 11.7 scholarships. You have to divvy up amongst 30 players. So you do the math, somebody's not getting a full ride there. And as the cost of tuition continues to go up, I had teammates of mine such as CeCe Sabathia and Dontrell Willis who said they got offered big scholarships to go to big schools, but their parents couldn't afford the rest. So they chose to take football scholarships, which were the full paying scholarships, to get them into school. Then they got drafted and then the rest was history. But you have a lot of kids that are in that same boat going, do I go to school on a partial scholarship, come out with a lot of debt, or possibly play another sport and go ahead and use the full scholarship that might be offered to me there?
Creating new pathways for students takes place here at the UIC campus with a state-of-the-art indoor training facility. Granderson threw in $5 million toward UIC's $10 million baseball project. Sports Illustrated calls it the largest single donation from an athlete to their alma mater in history.
It's so fun.
CBEA has helped support 60 youth baseball programs serving more than 10,000 Chicago area kids by letting them use the facilities and take part in camps and clinics, tournaments, an incubator program, and even umpire training.
We definitely want to make sure that once you start to get on the field and enjoy the game, you realize that there's a number of opportunities in the sport, not just playing the game. We're starting to see female umps and umps lacrosse, umps old and young and everything in the middle, in addition to playing it, in addition to watching it, coaching it, scouting it, training in it, all these different avenues, and of course, playing the game.
I like the pitching. I like to pitch a lot, and I throw a lot of balls and strikes. It's a really good baseball camp, and you learn a lot of stuff, and the coaches are really good. And the one thing is that Curtis Granderson works here, and he's one of the greatest baseball players of all time.
Here we go.
He's coached a couple teams, and he's taught me a lot.
2 outs. Nice play. Way to stay with it, way to stay with it.
I remember going to camps like this when I was younger, especially at UIC, so being able to do it for them, it's a good time.
That's UIC senior infielder Zane Zielinski of Rogers Park, a homegrown talent who relishes the opportunity to make an impact with a baseball great.
It's a cool experience being able to be with someone who was in the MLB for so long. I know growing up, there was a bunch of pro athletes, D1 athletes who would come back, help guys out, run camps where I was playing baseball, so being able to do the same thing in return, it's great. There's so many kids, I mean, all different levels of baseball, all different ages, so if they want to take this as a career, then being that inspiration is really cool.
It's also exposing kids to college at an earlier age.
I think the biggest thing that this program would have done for me if I was younger and had access to something like that is I step foot on the field. Of course, I'm excited about what I see. I got lights, I got the best skyline in all of baseball, but I'm also on a college campus. So the first time I stepped foot on a college campus was when I took my recruiting trip here. So imagine if I would have done that at the age of 10 or at the age of 12 or 15, I would have been like, college looks pretty cool. Now that becomes a possibility, but if, like they said, if you haven't seen it, how can I believe that's a possibility? So for a lot of the kids that we get into this program, this is the first and possibly the only time they're gonna step foot on a college campus, and that's through baseball and softball.
That's pretty awesome. And for you to be doing it at UIC, I mean, what's that mean to you, bringing it back home, basically?
I mean, UIC gave me so many opportunities from not only getting a chance to play baseball, but to get my degree. Chicago, born and raised, this is home and this will be home.
Oh, hi, Sandra. Aren't you going to work today?
I'm sick.
Gossipy neighbors and zany characters. It's no wonder 227 became a smash hit sitcom of the 80s, especially when you meet the brainchild of it all.
If it worked for me, it can work for anybody. And all you have to do is persevere.
Bronzeville's Christine Houston created the play that inspired 227 at Kennedy King College, where a new exhibit honors her creativity and vision.
You created the play on a typewriter just like this?
I wrote it on a typewriter just like this. Wow. And it looked like that when I was finished.
The TV show 227 is set in Washington, D.C. However, the play 227 is inspired by Christine's upbringing in Bronzeville.
I remember an instructor telling me that if you want to be successful with the first thing that you write about something you know about. And I said, okay, I'm going to write about my childhood growing up at 227 East 48th Street in Chicago and my best friend. So I said, that might be interesting to let people know how friendship can develop in childhood and last through adult life.
She had what she calls a secret dream of being an actress. However, those were put to the wayside as she joined the Air Force, got married, and started a family with 3 boys. When her boys were older, Christine wanted to teach them a lesson about the importance of education. She used the opportunity to chase her dreams and enrolled in Kennedy King College's theater program.
I am a mother, a housewife, and I work for CTA 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. I said, and I can go back to school and take 15 units and still work my job and still be a mother and a wife and do my housework.
She was soon encouraged by fellow students to write a play for a national competition. In 1977, 227 won first place. It was the first award of its kind for Kennedy King.
Well, you said you had never done a play before, so...
I had been in A Raisin in the Sun on the Kennedy King stage, and I had a script. I just copied the way I saw that script being written, and that's how I learned.
From there, the accolades kept stacking up, including the Norman Lear Award in 1978, named after the visionary creator of hit shows like The Jeffersons and Good Times. It earned Christine an all-expenses-paid trip to Hollywood for a writer's workshop and helped her develop a bond with Lear that would plant the seed for a mega hit.
I had a taste of it. For 2 weeks, I was in Hollywood, and I wrote the teleplay for The Jeffersons, and I came back to Chicago and went back in the booth at CTA and said, something ain't right. So I called Norman and asked him if he would bring me back and I could, kind of work on one of his shows and learn the business. He said, of course, Christine, you can come back. I'll send you a ticket. But I did meet some negatives on the way. I was trying to get Norman to do the play in LA. He didn't do it. I sent the play to Ruby Dee and Ossie Davis. They said they weren't interested, but it didn't stop me because too many people had said how much they liked it. Plus, the administration at Kennedy King told me in the very beginning, no matter how long it takes, your play is gonna make it. I really realized that I had written something that I didn't have the slightest idea how good it was.
As Christine's star rose, so did the attention around her play 227. The head of the Kennedy King Theater Department sent it across the country, where it eventually got into the hands of Jefferson star Marla Gibbs. She premiered it at her theater and invited different networks to watch. NBC was interested, but there was a catch. They wanted the stage rights to the play, something Christine wasn't willing to give up.
They said, if you don't give up all the rights, there will be no television show. So my attorney told me, if you want the rights to the stage play, don't talk to Marla.
After 8 months went by, Christine feared any hope for a TV deal was dead. That is, until
one day I got the call and people told me, your play is gonna be a television show. I said, how do you know? It's in the Reporter. And right after a friend called and told me, Marla called and said, we're going to do the play. And that's how it became a television show, and I was able to keep the rights.
227 was on air from 1985 to 1990. It made Christine the first African-American woman with a created by credit on a primetime TV series. Now, Christine's cousin, Actor and professor Ted Williams is keeping her legacy alive with an exhibit at the college that powered her vision, with lots of behind-the-scenes photos from Christine's rise and a recreated set piece from the original play.
Our students need to know they can do anything. We need to know that there is some good in the hood, and that people oftentimes look at communities like ours and assume that nothing fantastic or glorious comes out of it, and that's just not the case.
What's it mean for you to be able to walk through all this and see what they've built here?
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
I feel honored.
Yeah.
I really do. And people who I know that I made them laugh and feel good. I always wanted to do something in theater so that when people laughed, they could discuss it when they left the theater, and they also could feel good and say, I had a good time.